Man, it was a big week, especially over there on the app, on that Bird app. A lot of stuff going on, and your boy Chili, I was, I don't want to say I broke it, but I kind of put the information out there, and I'm going to get into a little bit of that a little bit later. But one thing I did want to show one thing I did want to do and show love to is some of the super talented like media kids that we got around, and I call them kids not disrespectfully, just because they're younger, right? Like I'm like the senior guy in this now. Didn't know if I'd ever get there. Like before me, it was like McCabe and some of those guys that I looked up to and that I used to follow when I was kind of breaking into this thing. And I just wanted to show some love. Like these guys are going on different platforms, Instagram stuff that like I kind of don't do with my own Instagram, except I did do it this week because super unique situation. So I really wanted to show some love to those guys over there, West Side Sports. What they're doing is they're grabbing a graphic and they're kind of using the stuff that like they get the information like, oh, they saw that Chili put something out there regarding this, and they've done this for like Zach Alvira, they've done this for Adam Beadle numerous times, they've done this for a whole bunch of the guys out there that have put information out there. And we got this Bishop Montgomery situation. Our brothers to the west, if you will, in California. A lot of kids out there are finding themselves ruled ineligible for a variety of reasons, and they're looking for opportunities to play. This is no different. This is no different than during the pandemic when kids were transferring out of a variety of states into different states. A lot of them going into Utah to make sure that they could get X amount of games in. Some kids come into Arizona to make sure that they could at least play football, because I don't know if anybody remembers, but during the pandemic, kids were not doing, I think it was like lower levels over most of California. Kids weren't doing lower levels. So a bunch of kids had come out here, and I think we all remember some of that. So, we got a new situation, and some kids were ruled ineligible in the CIF, which is their governing body for whatever reason. And so they're just looking for a new opportunity. So they came to Arizona to kind of do their thing. And, all I can say is, listen, we don't know the situation surrounding all this stuff. So for the most part, just be a good human and support and embrace it. We're talking about the kids, right? We're talking about the kids. And I know that the AIA has a weird, unappreciated standard for their own transfer rule that upsets a lot of people. I get that. So shout out to Bamboo Media. They were another company that kind of put a lot of stuff on Instagram. And these guys are getting like a ton of reads, clicks, views, and just make sure that if you are on the gram, make sure that you support them. I am going to catch up with somebody that can give me a little bit more information maybe on this because I think that this is such a unique situation that is going on. So also, I do want to make sure that we show some love to our guy because I said I would do this every week. Our Werfel candidate over there, the one and only, straight out of ASU, straight out of Marana, Sal Point, our guy, Coben Bourget, who does so much in the community with the 7-on-7 flag football, things like that. He does camps in the off season, really tries to give as much of himself to the game and teaching it and making sure that kids are going through it properly, fundamentally. So super talented wide receiver in high school. He's a wide receiver safety over there playing at ASU and getting his degree and stuff like that. So make sure that you guys support him when the opportunity comes. I have no idea what the voting process is for this. I've asked Doug Tamara over there at ASU if he could give me some insight, and I'm pretty sure I could do the research myself, but I'm like traveling around and moving around trying to make sure that all our kids get all the coverage that they can handle. One of those guys, my first guest, and I can't wait. I haven't really had a chance to catch up with him much while he's been blowing up and becoming a superstar in his own right, and everybody kind of learning the name. We're going to catch up with my guy, the one and only straight out of Mesa, Jackrabbit, Joe Haynie. Hang out with us for about 20 seconds, and we're going to bring him right on. one of the super talented athletes in that 2027 class, two-way guy straight out of Mesa, Joe Haynie. Hey, talk to me, man. You guys, your program is the subject of a lot of discussion right now, early in the week, more so than usual. Just out the gates, man. I gotta ask, what has that been like? How did that whole process go? When did you find out about this?
Honestly, it was just out of the blue. Monday morning, our coach he brought us together and he was like, "We're gonna get some guys. This is like super like random. He didn't know about it, but he said we're getting some guys, and there's some talent, and we're excited to have them." So
No, hey, and me, since I travel around the country for camps and things like that, I'm familiar with a lot of these names. You got a linebacker, tight end, quarterback, receiver, and stuff like that. You yourself kind of play one of those like linebacker, defensive end, tight end positions. So you're kind of one of the first ones that this could affect competitively. How are you handling this? How are you either embracing this situation or whatever?
honestly, I love it. I feel like competition is always good. It'll always like better the team and just make everyone better. So the more competition, the better it'll be. So I'm excited to have them and compete and make us better as a team. So.
Man, I love that attitude because there's so many people out there that are saying the other things. So many other, I'm guessing, parents off of other teams that are like, oh my gosh, this affects all the kids at Mesa, and it's going to be a negative thing. So I'm glad to hear that you're embracing it. What about the team around you though? Because these are all kids that like you grew up with. Mesa is one of those neighborhood schools that this typically doesn't happen to. How's everybody else on the team? Is it the same reaction for the guys that you grew up with?
I think most of the guys are excited to have them. Maybe a little bit nervous, but they're ready for competition, and um, I I think all in all, like as a team, we're excited to have them and be able to get better using them. So
Hey, the season, obviously last week, our guy Gridiron was out there watching you guys go to work, a competitive game versus Higley. What can we expect to see from you guys down the road? Because right now you guys are, what is it? It's 1-2, right?
yeah, we are. I think our defense is our strong point right now. We were holding them really well up until the fourth quarter when me and another DN got hurt, so we went out. But other than that, I think our defense is really good. We play hard. And I think with these new guys, some offensive keys that'll help a lot as well.
Hey, a lot of people think that you're going to be a defensive player at the next level. Is that something that you feel for yourself? Do you gravitate to playing defense more than offense?
I've been playing defense longer, so I think I'll play wherever, but I love defense just as much as I love offense.
Hey man, I gotta know as we move further into the season, the competition's also going to get a little bit tougher. We have the transition with Basha over there, and that's a team that you guys are going to see down the line. Typically, not a team that you see. How are you handling the opportunity to play against that high level competition?
As a DN, I'm excited. I get to play against two really good offensive tackles. So I'm excited to see what I can do and compete and showcase what I've been doing in the offseason just as much as they have.
Hey, speaking of transitions, you get a new coach. You have my guy Coach Hathcock come in. You find your guys in flight club competitions like that. How has it been dealing with the new head coach and all that comes with it?
With Hathcock, I think it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. He brought a lot of community and a lot more grit that we need. Um, he's changed a lot of just how we think as a group and as a unit, and has made us a lot more tough. So
Hey, I kind of put out there softly when I found out about all the stuff that's surrounding your team that you guys could possibly would be one of those teams that finds yourself trying to compete to play into that top 8 bracket. Now that you've seen what there is being added, do you feel the same way that you guys are going to string together some of these big victories and find yourself competing at the top of the 6A?
I believe we can. The way we've been playing and doing better at practices, the trajectory where we're going as a team and as a unit, it's just we're starting to get our mojo together, and I feel like we will be up there with the competition as we further in the season. So
I love it. Hey, Joe, I got to know before I let you go, man. Your favorite subject in school? I know you work hard in the classroom. What's your favorite class, or who's your favorite teacher?
I have two really good teachers. My math teacher, my English teacher are both really good. Honestly, I think math right now is my favorite. I'm in college
Yeah.
math, and
All right.
it's a good teacher. It's fun to learn. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear. Hey, you got to make sure that you run up those numbers with them sacks and tackles for losses. Keep me posted. Hey, Joe, I'm going to bring you back on the show sometime down the line in the season. We're going to find out if you guys are competing to play at the top level of the 6A. Cool?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, my man. You take care.
Have a good one.
And time to bring on the handsomest man in high school sports media, the
Mesa
one and only, according to Eric Newman, legendary media member out here in the Valley.
Hopefully
Arizona.
Go this week because I knew he left that game. Looked like a leg injury there. It was like late third quarter kind of thing, and that's when Higley got on there 2 scoring drives to win that game in the fourth quarter.
Hey, listen, Gridiron. I am going to tell you some things that you probably already know. This quarterback that is coming in is probably one of the top quarterbacks in the state already. The tight end that is coming in is one of the top tight ends in the state already, which I think is going to alleviate some offensive responsibility off of Haynie and let him focus on defense and really getting after the quarterback.
Done much on offense this season. I've primarily seen him on defense.
So I'm wondering, after what you saw,
Mesa has a good run game.
Okay, so how do you think that these transfers are gonna fully impact Mesa based off of what you saw, and knowing that Higley is undefeated and kind of controls their own destiny right now, their early destiny?
Yeah, I mean they were leading Higley in that game 13-10 after 3 quarters. I was surprised to see that. I have to admit that I didn't expect that I'd be seeing Mesa in the lead there after 3 quarters.
Wow, not a hater.
No, not a hater. Just the way Higley was playing. They held Higley. The defense held Higley to 18 passing yards through 3 quarters. And you're not going to know this because Higley hasn't posted any stats yet this year. I'll check it tonight. But as of yesterday, they hadn't posted any stats. But
they're not posting stats because Mesa was getting after them.
Well, Higley's won all their games. Usually a 3-0 team, you don't have a problem getting the stats in. But anyhow,
this is true. This is true. But hold on, Gridiron. Is it fair to say that from what you saw on Friday, Higley is a better team on defense than they are on offense for the first time in a long time?
Yes. Definitely, yes. And this was the first time Higley is 34-8 their last 42 games. And this is the first time that they've strung together 3 consecutive games of holding a team under 20 points. And they've actually held all 3 of their opponents under 14 points. So that just kind of tells you that they've won a lot of games, 34-8, but they've won a lot of games by scoring, 30, 40 points through the years. And part of it is because, they've had some turnover in terms of guys that graduated last year in the skill positions, not from the quarterback position, but, they lost a big time D1 receiver last year. Their leading rusher, graduated as well. And so it's kind of been putting the offense back together. The guy they're expected to be their top receiver played his first game of the season Friday night. But Mesa defensively played well, and as far as getting the transfers in, I mean it's interesting too because at the quarterback position, they rotated. The guy they started game 1 did not play; he was injured in the second game, and didn't. And they were hoping he'll be back for this week against Desert Ridge, and that's Derek Carr. And then the 2 guys that played, one of them the transfer from ALA West Foothills. who started, but it was the other guy who was actually a JV call up, who was the number 3 guy at the start of the season. He played all the second half of the game. And I mean, as a whole, the quarterback struggled. They were 6 for 21 for the game with 1 interception, which was a pick 6. So they can certainly, if there's a hole that was needed, it was at the quarterback position. And then obviously when you put a tight end in there that probably has D1 offers as well.
Well, he's a Texas A&M commit.
Okay, I didn't know which player was which. I haven't done all the research on the new commits because I saw Mesa before all this. But obviously, yeah, if you give an influx to the passing game, teams aren't going to be able to load the box with Rio Arnett, who ran for like 130 yards Friday night.
Man, I personally just think that this situation is super cool because of the nature of it, right? Like,
you have a little bit of a chemistry issue. And obviously Joe is fine with it. Joe has an NAU offer. He's a junior. He's probably not in danger of losing a starting position. But if depending on how many kids you end up adding to the mix, you do have a little bit of a chemistry experiment, if you will. And it's not something you normally see midway through a season. So there is that effect also that you have to hope everything doesn't bubble over for the guys that are going to be having lesser role than they've had in the first 4 games, actually 5 games. And the really, really big game on their schedule, as far as you talking about a possibility of making the Open. And remember, to have a possibility to making the Open, you have to finish in the top 12 at the end of the regular season. And then you're in that 5 to 12 play-in. They will beat Desert Ridge this week. I've seen the Jaguars on film. And so that will make them 2-2. Then the really, really big game is next week at home against Castile. And that's a game that I went to last year that Castile won by a couple touchdowns. So that's the game that if Mesa can get, it could spur them on to the run, because then they have at Sal Point the next week when we're expecting that they'll have all these transfers in there. Then they have a bye week. So they'll get to, have those transfers, practicing for 2 weeks, basically, before you get to the rest of the season. And if they're good enough to beat Sal Point, you would think that they
hold on. Gridiron, I've been told by powers way more powerful than myself that it is possible
they might be able to play
those transfers are available for Castile.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was something like a 10 days of practicing, and I think it might include Saturdays. I don't know how all that rule plays into things. If it includes just a walkthrough on the day of the game, if it includes just wearing a helmet on the sideline the day of the game and not playing, or how that part works as far as what they say. Okay, well, that helps if they were able to play in the Castile game, which I said was a really big game in terms of their open chances. Because if they can go through this schedule and go 7-3 with the losses to Mountain View and Higley, which they've already lost, and Basha, which we would think that they'd be an underdog in, that would probably be good enough to make the top 12. 7-3.
Now Friday was their first day in class. Monday and then the 5 days this week.
Well, I don't know if Saturday counts. That's what I was getting at.
Saturday doesn't have to count because Friday was the first day. Right. Monday through Friday, and then Monday through Thursday. So that's 10.
Yeah, they'll play the Castile game, correct?
Yeah. So they would be technically, with the 10-day rule, would be ready to go.
It would be Thursday, and the Castile game is not a Thursday game; it's a Friday game. Right. Yeah. By the way, their game against Desert Ridge this week is a Thursday game.
Well, I mean, they're not going to be available,
but they're not playing. They're not playing in that one. But yeah, it's a big game for Mesa, because that is Jeremy Hathcock's return to Desert Ridge for the first time, a place he coached for 15 years. And he said it was going to be an emotional moment just getting back, to coaching there. He hasn't coached on the visiting sideline there before. And they're also going to honor Joey Counts before the game, who was a running back who was one of the best backs in the state for him for 2 years, went on to play at Montana. Unfortunately lost his life back in November. So they're going to honor him and pay respects to him before the game as well. So a little extra emotional there.
Hopefully Coach Hathcock doesn't go into the wrong locker room and
Yeah. So
find
someone
his
might
way.
have to give him directions because he didn't have to go that visiting. Hopefully he made sure the visiting one wasn't substandard because he's going to be in it this week.
Man, hey, but yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on the past few days, and stuff that I knew about a little bit earlier than most.
Stuff that is, I mean, we saw it last year with one player coming over, a quarterback to Mountain Point, but we haven't seen it to where there were, a glut of people all coming at once. So there you go, product placement.
Shout out to my guys over there, Pocari Sweat. This is a hydration drink. It's a hydration drink that Gridiron's not allowed to drink. So,
Too much
but
sugar.
I do gotta show love. It's just like that Gator Light kind of or whatever. I love.
I drink the zero Gatorade stuff.
But hydration drink. Hey, this stuff is actually great. I don't know like if Pocari is like Korean or whatever for something else, and then Sweat like. It's crazy to drink. It's crazy to drink a drink called Sweat that kind of low key looks like Sweat. So like, it is what it is.
The folks that named Gatorade did a much better job because they didn't name it Gator Sweat
or Powerade. So like, or whatever. But anyways, let's get down to business. We do got a healthy lineup of games to discuss, and we're gonna start off with this one right here. Gridiron, our own Gridiron doesn't usually drop down to the lower levels. I'm sure that there's a reason why.
Sometimes we don't. The 4A are called the big schools.
Occasionally.
Ever since the days where the 4A was included in the Open, that's kind of where there was a designation between the 3A and the 4A. And the 4A were called big schools. And then the 3A, obviously, they started a week early this year. The 4A, they get to play in the stadium, unlike the 3As. Whether that's fair or not is a separate issue. But so yeah, I normally don't cover them, but we will talk a little 4A football tonight.
Hey, this is a huge matchup here. I guess Paradise Honors at Combs. I'm not sure if this is gonna attract Gridiron to get out there, but I do like this matchup. I know you've been there like many times. There's
my nephew graduated from there, so
you went like
he's no longer there now. He's up at NAU now, but yeah.
And you're still showing.
They weren't this good then.
Dang, that was hurtful. That was very hurtful. All right, and Paradise Honors over there with head coach Seacock, who I absolutely love. I think that he's fantastic. He's got this running back that is absolutely running up numbers, Chuck Van Dyke. And I know you're going to get into that. Wide receiver Preston Brown trying to do his thing. And a pair of guys on defense, defensive back Parker Daly, and this defensive linebacker Sam Johnson, who's doing his best to make sure that he gets in backfields and absolutely blows them up. On the other side, we got Combs, head coach Levi Hoagland, and some players to watch over there. They got a talented running back of their own, Branson Moak. They got a pair of linebackers, Van Merkley, linebacker Levi Anglin, and defensive end over there, Sam Pearson. They're tough up front, which I think could be problematic for Coach Seacock's squad. But Gridiron, I'm gonna let you go inside the numbers on these two teams.
Not very big on the lines.
Facts. That is actual factual. I'm gonna let you go inside the numbers on these two teams, and then we're gonna pick what we got to pick.
Yep, we got Paradise Honors 2-1 at Combs 3-0. This will be Friday night, 7 p.m. in Santan Valley. That's on Germain Road, just east of Ironwood. Last week, Paradise Honors defeated Poston Butte 28-10. Combs defeated Choya 50-0. This is the first meeting between the teams. Of course, Paradise Honors just moved up this year from 3A to 4A. Paradise Honors is on a 2-game win streak. Head coach Josh Seacock. Quarterback Parker Schmitz is a junior, has 514 yards, 4 TDs. The running back Chuck Van Dyke, a junior, 658 yards in 3 games, 6 TDs. He has back-to-back 200-yard games. Wide receiver Preston Brown is a senior, has 12 catches, 273 yards, and 2 touchdowns, so it's not all running the ball. And on defense, defensive lineman Sam Johnson, a senior, has 3 sacks. And Parker Daly, a safety, he's a senior, 29 tackles, also plays some offense, has 3 rushing touchdowns. Combs is outscoring their opponents 158-0.
That's
Head coach
insane. That's insane.
is in his 4th season. That is insane. Regardless of the schedule, that's quite an accomplishment to put up 12 donuts there in terms of quarters. Quarterback Cannon Hale, a junior, 328 yards, 9 touchdowns, had 6 TD passes last week versus Choya. Running back Branson Moak is a senior, 271 yards, 5 touchdowns, plus 2 receiving TDs. Wide receiver Skylar Lawrence is a junior, 6 catches, 114 yards. On defense, you got defensive end Samuel Pearson, already has 6 sacks. And linebacker Van Merkley has 28 tackles, 5 of those for loss.
Man, hey, that stat is absolutely insane. And there's a couple teams that are 3-0 out there. There's a lot of teams that are 3-0
There's a lot of teams
out
that
there.
are 3-0.
There's
only one other team that has a 0.
There are also a lot of teams that
allowed.
have given out a lot of donuts in that 3-0 process. But 158-0 is crazy. So
put up
wow.
as consecutive 50 plus.
That's insane. They played the least amount of football of everybody, right? Because they
all 3 would have been running clock games. I don't know at what point in the game they became running clock games, if they were before or after halftime. But yes, obviously all 3 ended with a running clock. This game will not end with a running clock.
Coach Hoagland got to keep the guys after to get some conditioning in because, I'm just saying.
Maybe do some wind sprints because the game ended.
Yeah. Sheesh. Hey, for all the media out there that's trying to have a short work day on Friday, go check out a Combs game sometime.
Go.
Sheesh. All right. Hey, listen.
They got some tougher games coming up.
Listen, Gridiron, you already said it. I don't know that this is gonna end the way the first 3 ended.
I'll be really, really surprised if this one's 50-0. Yes.
Coach Seacotch is an absolute dude when it comes to X's and O's and stuff like that. And he's got some guys over here, and he's not going to be afraid to run the rock either, obviously, because he's got a super talented running back over there, CBD, doing his thing.
Well, certainly going to establish that from the get-go.
Yeah, and so
if you're down 14, that kind of changes your philosophy, but certainly from the beginning they'll be trying to run the rock, and he's got back-to-back 200-yard games, and they won both those games that he had the 200 yards in. Their loss was in the opener to Mojave.
Now this game,
I believe Mojave is 3-0.
This game might move fast. This game might move fast for a different reason, just because both these teams are so run oriented.
Well, I don't know, because Combs' quarterback had 6 TD passes last week.
Oh, sheesh. Okay. Well,
so they seem to be that.
Huh. All right. Listen. All good things come to an end. And I think I know what direction you're going to go. So I'm going to rock with Coach Seacotch over here. I think that he's going to find a way to break this, and I think he's going to find a way to get the dub. Coach Seacotch is a super talented individual, and I think that he's going to find a way to get CVD the ball and get him in the end zone. And Sam Johnson's going to do Sam Johnson things and make sure that he can contain Moak. And yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Give me Paradise Honors.
Okay.
Rocking with the West Side. Rocking with the West Side.
Yeah, Paradise Honors is in Surprise, for those that don't know. So you got Surprise to Santan Valley. That's about as far as you can get between 2 points that still consider themselves the Valley. Obviously you get further out when you're playing, Tucson teams or something like that. But in terms of playing a team in the Valley, it's as far as you can go. That's going to surprise you a little bit, because I look at it and I want to see what Combs really is. I know someone in the media poll ranked them very high this week, and I'm not quite ready to jump on that boat yet.
Okay, not drinking the Kool-Aid.
I'm pretty sure at the end of the season that Rio Rico, Rincon, and Choya are going to rank in the 40s or higher out of the 57 or however many teams there are in 4A. So they've pounded 3 opponents, but I think they've beaten 3, bad teams. And I don't think we get a lot of viewership.
Dang.
I don't think we get a lot of viewership in those 3 markets. So I think we're okay. And so I'm going to take Paradise Honors here due to the step up in competition. Chuck Van Dyke, I think he'll be hard for them to stop. I'm going to take Paradise Honors 21-16.
21-16. Okay. I like that. Sheesh. Yeah, no,
if Combs wins this one, then yes, I'm a believer in them. And then just to look at what Combs has coming up, they do have games coming up against Snowflake, Arcadia, and Eastmark. So there's some,
it gets tougher.
It gets tougher. So in the 3 tune-up games, they might have been a good thing. Combs last year finished 6-5. They made the playoffs. I believe they were the 16th seed, but they did get in the 4A playoffs last year.
Man, this game, 21-16. Man, hey, that look. If Coach Hoagland gets this game, if Combs gets this game, I too will be a full believer. Moving
this
forward.
This is the prove it game to me.
Okay, well, I definitely agree with you on that. I think that this is a big early game for them. I just think so highly of Coach Seacock. I think that he's gonna find a way to establish the run early and get things going and find a way to travel all the way across the valley.
Yep.
And get this dub. All right. Now on to unfortunate news. Unfortunate
Paradise
news.
Honors, they were a 3A playoff team last season. They went 7-5.
That's not the unfortunate news. That's not the
no. I was already looking that up. So
okay.
We must be getting. Now it's worth noting you went 2-0 last week. So
it's worth noting that you too went 2-0.
First is over. Of course, I also went 2-0. There we go.
Is that the manual standings?
3-5. Quick recap of our victories last week. We had Desert Edge over Notre Dame, and we had Brophy over Perry, a game that Perry led early in the fourth quarter before the Broncos put 28 on him in the fourth quarter to win that game. Huge game for Case Vandenbosch. 3 touchdown passes, 3 touchdown runs. Yeah,
clutch Case. My man is doing some things and trying to make things cook after that Basha game.
He's really trying to. Brophy got a big one this weekend that we'll talk about in a little bit too.
Yeah, we'll find out a little bit about that. But we do got some unfortunate news.
Some more
disappointing news. Yeah, we got oh my goodness.
Yeah, we didn't win everything last week. No, we didn't.
No.
Shout out to the Maricopa Rams for defeating our spotlight player last week. That would be Avion Williams from Casa Grande. Maricopa wins the game 34-20. So we are having to start a new win streak again with the spotlight player of the week.
So we're 2-2. We're
2-2. Yeah.
We're 2-2 right now, and not happy.
Mesa's trying to get to 2-2 this week, and they still got a shot at the Open. So we either need some transfers, or we gotta turn it on here.
All right. Well, do we get 2 for this spotlight that we're about to do?
No. This just counts as one game.
Counts as one game. All right. Well, spotlight players of the week this week. We want to show some love to some of our committed guys, some of our committed seniors that have worked so hard in their Arizona careers. And this week we got Bo and Nico Jandro from Hamilton. And a lot of teams that play them wish they weren't, like O'Connor, and they just wish that they didn't have to deal with all those headaches because it's a lot. Look, it is a lot. The things that these guys have done on the field, absolutely incredible. Oklahoma commits. I actually thought when they were committing, one had committed to Oklahoma first. I thought the second one was going to commit to Texas. I thought the second one was going to commit to Texas. It was
looking that way, which would have made the Red River Shootout really, really neat because
it would have been insane.
You'd have the mom with the shirt, that would be half Texas and half Oklahoma. Wouldn't have any friends in the stadium probably because that's a huge rivalry.
They would have had to sit like in the middle
bowler,
so it would have been crazy. But yeah, man, like that's what I thought. But they ended up keeping peace in the household.
Yep.
And they're both going to go to Oklahoma, OU DNA. And Gridiron, I'm gonna let you go ahead and run through some of their sets.
Yep, we got Bo and Nico Jandro from Hamilton. Bo, a linebacker, 6'1", 215, and Nico is safety, 6', 200. Both of them Oklahoma commits. They are identical twins. Nico committed to OU in May. Bo did so in June. This is their third year on varsity for the Huskies. Bo in his last 2 seasons combined 132 tackles and 4 sacks. I don't believe he's played this year yet. Had a foot injury, I know, before the season. I haven't seen any stats for him yet. Nico had 51 tackles as a sophomore with a couple interceptions. And then so far this year, in the first 2 games that I saw stats for, he had 9 tackles for Hamilton. Bo had 23 offers. He went on visits to Oregon State, Texas, Oregon, and Oklahoma. He's the one that committed second that we thought might have gone to Texas. Nico had 14 Division I offers, and he visited Oregon State, San Diego State, and Oklahoma. It was shortly after that Oklahoma visit in May that he committed. Interesting note, the Jandros will be the 3rd set of brothers on the Sooners roster. And this week, Hamilton 3-0 will host Brophy, who we just talked about a little bit ago, 2-1 this Friday in Chandler. I know they don't play offense, but the Huskies have scored 63, 62, and 54 points in their 3 games, and they've only allowed 48 total points, so 16 per game.
Jeez, when Bo comes back, it's going to be crazy.
I don't know if he's back this week or what the prognosis is on that one. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not sure. The way that they've been BTA on teams, I would have thought that he'd been playing.
Yeah, no.
For real.
I saw a picture of him. I think it might have been during the scrimmage where he was on crutches on the sideline, kind of had his foot in a boot. But I haven't seen any stats for him yet. So
absolute animal. Both of these kids.
I suppose I should verify and make sure Hamilton hasn't put the stats in for the last game yet.
And I'm like 90% sure that when I went out and watched them freshman year, they were playing freshman ball. So like this is
that wouldn't
testament,
because then they both played varsity as sophomores.
So this is like, I mean, and the only reason I bring that up is like a testament. Like, dude, you do not have to play varsity ball your freshman year. Like, get acquainted with like the system and the school and play with your friends and enjoy it and love it. And if you're not going to get time on varsity, don't press it. Just play some freshman ball and be great, like the Jandro brothers, who are always, like these guys are like also like a walking advertisement for that 8 facility in
and they
or Gilbert or whatever.
They are jacked. The muscles, you see them in the photo. They stand out. Looks like Hamilton has not posted defensive stats for the last game yet. So I don't know if he came back this week or not.
I don't know that I've ever heard Gridiron use the term jack, but yes, they are. They are
impressive photo.
Yeah,
especially for those of us that do not go to the gym. So
these 2 are very, very impressive specimens, very impressive humans, and very, very physical in play when they're out there. So just wanted to share that. So you already put up the manual standing.
Hamilton has clearly been one of the top 3 teams in the state this year with Bash and Liberty. I don't think there's any argument there that if we're putting the top 3 teams in the state, it's those 3, probably in the order of Bash, Liberty, Hamilton. And then there's probably a gap before you get to some controversy as to who 4 and 5 are.
Yeah,
I mean just based off what we've seen through 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think we're gonna learn more about everything that we need to learn more about coming up here very, very shortly.
Yep.
As the weeks progress. But we do got another game. We do got game 2 that we got to break down over here. One of these teams you have seen. One of these teams I have seen.
Right.
I'm very, very curious how the pick is going to go over here.
The winner of this could be the team that might be number 4.
Very, very possible. And it would also be a surprise to many if that was the case. I saw Pinnacle last week, and Coach Zupke, what he's doing over there is absolutely amazing. For the first time ever, and this is no shade on a kid that I think is playing the position very, very well. He does not have a name brand quarterback, somebody that everybody was familiar with going into the season. He's had Wyatt Horton. He's had guys like Lewerke, J.D. Johnson, Devin Dampier, Spencer Rattler, guys that were 3, 4, and 5-star kids. Best players in the country, things like that. What Zupke is doing over there, I think, is just phenomenal. And his defensive coordinator, absolutely amazing. Numbers that I know that you're going to get into, but just watching him operate this offense, the kids are doing a great job, doing the things that they got to do. Two of these guys that I saw last week, and this looks so similar to the list that I put out from players that balled out, because these guys are all players that I think are going to be factors. A pair of offensive linemen over there, Julian Jenkins and Langston Asante. They hold down one side, and those guys are big, as big as any of the other guys that I've seen at Pinnacle, and very, very strong, and they get a lot of push in that run game. Defensively, these guys are legit as I've seen this early for Pinnacle in any season. And last year I talked to Coach Carroll, and when Coach Carroll was at Pinnacle, and I said, hey man, whatever you guys are doing on defense, it's working. You guys are building this thing the right way. These guys are gonna be studs next year. And sure enough, here we are. And you're gonna run through those stats later. But guys like defensive back Cash Silva, linebacker Aiden Ramos, defensive back Braden Frick, defensive lineman. This kid Ian Fulmer is an absolute animal. Had 3 sacks that I saw, and they got guys like Jai Ewing that contribute. A pair of running backs running behind those mammoth offensive linemen, Gavin Hammond and Brandon Morgan Jr. An X factor over there for Pinnacle is that quarterback Drew Varsano, just carrying out the plays, making the plays that he can make, and not trying to do more than necessary, just playing within himself. And Coach Zupke's operating this perfectly, and so is Varsano. On the flip side, we got this Higley team that you saw last week, led by super talented quarterback Gunnar Fagrell. All he can do, and all he does is win games. His record is
18-2 as a starter now.
One of the most impressive feats for any quarterback in the country. I only know of one quarterback. I can only think of one quarterback who at his current high school has done better than that, and that is Faison Brandon over there in North Carolina. I think he's like 30-1 or something like that over 3 years of starting or something like that. I think it's actually like 35-1 or something like that. But I know you can look up those numbers later and correct me and whatever. But anyways, running back Antonio Young has looked great, and I know looked great for you. This wide receiver John Asaro. I think that this kid is special, but he's going to have to break out and get that game this week, probably, if Higley's going to get the dub. Wide receiver / tight end Daniel Zuby, another kid that's gotta step it up in production. He's got to make things work if we are to see Higley continue this winning streak. Also, defensive. On the defensive side, this Higley Penitentiary, absolutely fantastic. Bryson Wilkinson is an absolute stud. Nassim the Nightmare. It'd be easy to call him Nassim the Dream, but it is an absolute nightmare for receivers that line up against him. When they see Nassim, they're like, man, wake me up. This is not what I want to be in front of. But the other option over there is Justice Brathwaite, who I think is one of the best cover corners in the state. Super talented BYU commit that was on the Dropping Dime segment with me and Cam Cox last night, and we talked to him. And the super brash defensive back, he's ready for all the smoke. Another defensive back over there, Dylan Hostelero, rounding out that Higley Penitentiary that Justice Brathwaite leads.
I got to cut you off here. I talked to Dylan after the game last week. He had a pick 6 in the game. This was the quote that he gave me, unsolicited, right? Because I asked him about the play of the defense this year, because obviously, as we mentioned in years past, but he said last year there was less communication and no one was talking as much. This year we are big on communication, and like just Chili said, we're the Higley Penitentiary. Stop playing with us. That was the quote that he gave me after the game.
I love that kid. Hey, this defensive back group, like I said, they got. I don't want to put this the wrong way. They're a little bit arrogant, a little bit brash. They got some swag to them. Like they're ready for the moment. No moment seems like too big, and they want to see all the best players. So I am curious to see how this chess match works with Zupke and Rand and Varsano and all these DBs. Hey, the X factor over there for Higley, defensive lineman Jaden Rhodes, linebacker Dax White. If I could throw in another one, it's gonna have to be Keegan Peterson, because I gotta see these wide receivers do more for Fagrell. I gotta see them do their part, like I have seen Higley receivers over the course of time just become monsters. the Espositos, the Jaden Taylors, all those guys, the Coleman Owens. Over history, Higley receivers have dominated games, taken over. And I got to see one of these guys step up and become that dude. But Higley, they look great. Coach Zuby's doing a great job over there. Gridiron, I'm gonna let you take this away and run down these numbers. As much of them as you can, because I know that there's like some issues with max preps.
I don't think it's a max preps issue. I think it's a human issue. We got Pinnacle 3-0 at Higley 3-0. Probably the top game in the state this week. You got both teams 3-0, both 6A teams. Friday night, 7 p.m. in Gilbert. That's at Wrecker and Pecos. Last week, Pinnacle defeated Corona del Sol, as you saw, 35-0. Higley defeated Mesa, as I saw, 25-13. This is the first meeting between the teams. Pinnacle is outscoring their opponents 133-0. So we mentioned Combs earlier. Pinnacle, the other team that has not been scored upon this year. And in case you're curious, I tried to go back in the archives, and it turned out I didn't have to go back very far. But when I looked it up over the weekend, Santa Cruz Valley started last year with 3 straight shutouts. And if you go back further and you look at big schools, Apollo at one point, I believe it was 1990, had started the season with 5 straight shutouts. Mountain View was the last big school to start with 3 straight shutouts. That was in 2021. Head coach Dana Zepke in his 23rd season, all with the Pioneers. Quarterback Drew Versano, a senior, 614 yards, 9 TDs. A couple of running backs, Dan Hammond, a senior, 170 yards and 4 TDs. And running back Brandon Morgan, a junior, 166 yards, 2 TDs. So clearly they rotate backs there. Wide receiver Alex Lugo is a senior, has 7 catches, 182 yards and 3 touchdowns. On defense, you have defensive end Ian Fulmer, who's a sophomore, has 5 sacks on the season, 3 of those last week. And defensive back Braden Fricky has 3 interceptions. He's a senior. They held Corona del Sol to 73 yards of offense last week. They were
Crazy.
9 for 19 passing, and they had 26 carries for 9 yards. Now, sacks count as rushing yards against, and Pinnacle had 9 sacks. So when you back out the yardage from sack, Corona ended up with positive 9 yards of rushing in the game. Higley has outscored opponents 77-32. They have not given up 14 in a game yet this year. Head coach Eddie Zuby is in his 16th season with the Knights. Like we mentioned, they haven't entered any stats all year. I did just check it. We can give you last week's numbers because somebody kept stats last week. Quarterback Gunnar Fagrell is a senior, 8 for 13 last week, 104 yards, most of that in the fourth quarter. Running back Antonio Young had quite a game. He's a junior, 22 carries for 167 yards. Wide receiver John Asaro, he's a senior, played his first game of the season last week, back from injury. On defense, cornerback Dylan Hostelero is a senior, had the pick 6, and the Higley Penitentiary quote. Cornerback Justice Brathwaite is a senior, is a BYU commit, and cornerback Nassim Eason is a junior, has 9 D1 offers, including ASU, Louisville, and Kansas.
Hey, I'm not going to say that he started it, but this Higley Penitentiary thing, if I remember correctly, it really did start Justice Brathwaite's sophomore year. I saw him take.
Well, it would have been when Eason's brother was there.
Yeah, it was when Nigel was there.
Nigel.
So, and Nigel really did his part to make sure that they wore that like a badge of honor, and Andrew Zuby did the same thing. He blew up. I watched him in a game. He got 3 interceptions, and it's been a special group like every year. I'm curious to see if Nassim is going to be able to carry this penitentiary torch next year. But yeah, they do take a lot of pride in it, and I think it's super cool. It's a nickname that's kind of followed this program for a while, and I know they take it seriously.
They're earning it so far this year.
Yeah, no, they're definitely doing their thing, man. And I think one thing that I don't know how much people know regarding this situation, but I believe that this DC over at Pinnacle has to sit the game out because I think he was ejected from the game. I did read that. I remember Adam
Adam was there also, and he mentioned that. And so I would assume when a coach gets ejected, they have to miss the next game just like a player would.
Yeah. So
Have they rallied around him after that coach got ejected last week? It was early in the game, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't any games. They were listen, that defense is so legit over there, and he's really got those guys going the right way. And it's just insane because Corona del Sol has a power 4 quarterback over there, Luke Farrell, who a lot of people think is super special, myself included. And he can really throw that thing. Jamar Patterson's over there. But man, what Pinnacle was able to do in
held him to under 50.
Yeah, it was crazy to watch unfold. And shout out to Zupke and his staff over there. They're great, man. I loved a lot of what I saw from them. They were absolutely incredible, especially on that line. I think it's going to be tough if their primary defensive play caller isn't there. Like, they're going to have to deal with a new guy making the calls. I think that's so tough.
How much of that is game planned ahead of time versus on the fly?
But that's the thing, is the on the fly stuff. Like, Zuby's such a good chess player, and I think him having a winning quarterback like Gunnar Fagrell, like, it just enhances all of that. And I think that because the nature of the situation, and Zuby with all his experience, and he's the primary offensive play caller, and he's got such established coaching veterans on his staff that work with his quarterbacks like Sarmiento and Cañas. I think that he has such a heavy advantage right now.
So it comes with the in-game adjustments. It would be
for sure. And I think you're going to see. I think that you're going to see Coach Zuby, and I'm not trying to give away game plan or anything like that. This is just my guess. I think you're going to see Zuby throw some things out there that are going to force in-game adjustment and force whoever is taking over the primary play calling for that defense for Pinnacle. I think you're going to see Zuby throw some things in there that are going to make Pinnacle very, very uncomfortable on defense. Might give Higley an early advantage, of which Pinnacle will have to figure out at halftime. I'm going to take Higley in what I think is going to be a close-ish game, somewhere between 7 and 3 points.
Mm-hmm. I think Higley plays a few games each year, even when they were scoring tons of points, where you had a tight, low-scoring game. And I think this will be one of them right here. I don't think you're going to see 35-31 or anything like that this week. I'm going to take Pinnacle in this one. I'm going to go 16-14.
16-14. Wow. I've said this a couple times this year, and it hasn't really worked out for me. But I actually do think that a game that close will favor Pinnacle. And I'm not trying to jinx you.
Well, Higley just rallied from being down 3 after 3 quarters. They didn't put that game away until 5 minutes to go.
I think this particular game they got to win this. Man, 2 points. Sheesh. I definitely think that Higley. I'd like to see them get this by a touchdown. I think less than a touchdown. Even though I said 3-7, I really think less than a touchdown is going to be tough. But I think Zuby's gonna find a way to get that early advantage. Maybe try to take a 10-14 point lead, and they kind of won't look back. But again, 3 donuts to start the season.
If Pinnacle wins this one, it'll get really interesting, because then they'll be 4-0 with Liberty coming to town the next week. So
man, I talked to Justice last night on the show. They're ready for it. The defense is ready to really put their stamp on this season. And if the offense scores 3 points, 7 points, they can win that game. He believes that. Like, look, just get points on the board somehow. If we man, I love the attitude of this Higley defense, this Higley Penitentiary, of which I nicknamed many moons ago. I think that this is a special group, and hey, listen, I'd be lying to you. I would honestly be lying to you if I told you that I thought that either one of these teams would be 4-0, which one of these teams will definitely be.
Pinnacle being 3-0 doesn't surprise me. it was La Cueva from New Mexico, who's down a little bit.
I didn't think they'd be that bad, though.
And
I didn't
think they'd be that bad. And Mountain Ridge and Corona del Sol. On Higley's side of things, now Higley's side of things, it is a little surprising because Coronado was really good last year, the team from Vegas that they beat by 20 points. And they opened against Highland, who we know Highland's 0-3. That's played probably the toughest schedule in the state so far, maybe outside of ALA Queen Creek. And they beat Highland by 2 touchdowns also. So Higley being 3-0 surprised me a little bit more than Pinnacle being 3-0. But and then the other thing we didn't mention with Pinnacle is in 3 more games, after these next 2 games, they have a quarterback becoming eligible, and they have a senior QB right.
2 quarterbacks.
What's that?
They have 2 quarterbacks getting eligible. The one from O'Connor and the one from Cactus.
It's okay. I didn't realize they had 2 transfer in there, but it seems kind of weird. Once one transfers in, you wouldn't think another one would. But anyhow, so they're gonna have to figure out how to do a 3 QB offense after the game. So
or maybe not, because if who does Pinnacle have after Higley? Who did you say they have?
They have Liberty.
Look, man,
their game 5 is a home game against Liberty, so they would still be going Varsano, and then the following week is game 6, and that's when you'd have all the guys eligible.
If
you're only gonna play one quarter.
Listen, if Varsano is 3-2, his only losses being to nationally ranked Liberty and possibly undefeated Higley, 4-1 Higley, dude, there is no way. There's no way you can move off of him. There's no way.
You got to play the hot hand, yes, right?
I mean, I don't know. Listen, I side with Zupke. He knows a lot more about quarterbacks than I'll ever pretend to know. He's
Higley with a tough one the week after this as well. They play Mountain View the next week.
Look, Zupke might turn Varsano into the next great one that, at the end of the season, we're all talking about, like, dang, dude, where did this guy come from?
It might be just like the sophomore year of the last quarterback that got him all the way to the title, Mr. Horton there.
Man, absolutely, man. Coach Zupke's amazing, and like I said, man, I'm just so impressed. I'm just so impressed. And what's it called? I can't remember. I think their DC Coach Robinson, incredible job. And I'm just really curious to see how these next 2 games go. One, because from what I understand, the DC won't be allowed to be on the sidelines versus Higley. And 2, with the game after that being Liberty, how they're able to rebound regardless of what happens this Friday
Liberty
night.
Game last year, and they played Liberty really tough last year. It was a game.
Yes, they did.
It was a game that came down to the final possession, so that they are not going to be intimidated to play Liberty at all.
And Wyatt was throwing in the end zone to end that game.
The last play of the game was an incomplete. Pinnacle had the ball at around the 25, 30-yard line, and the last pass of the game was an incomplete pass in the end zone as time expired. That would have won the game for, I think it was a 3-point game. That would have won the game for Pinnacle.
I think you posted a clip or something like that, a picture or something like that of that final play. We were all tuned into your tweets. We were all tuned into your tweets that night. You had Twitter in a stranglehold that night. We were all trying to figure out what was going to happen.
Sometimes you go to a game and you think a team that on paper might be a 20-point favorite, ends up getting close to pulling it out. And that's what pretty much almost had there at the Mesa game. I would say Mesa was, probably a significant underdog going into that game against Higley last week. Let me get
for sure.
That game last year, I want to say it was 31-28 or something. 32-29. Yeah, it was a 3-point game.
Crazy. Well, we're gonna see what happens this week. This is gonna be a huge game. Do you know what game you're going to?
I am going to be out at Notre Dame Prep this week to see the 3-0 undefeated Gilbert Tigers. And that's impressive. A team that people surprised who is currently sitting 3-0. because one of those wins came against McClintock, and it came very handily. That I think definitely surprised both of us there. They opened the season with a win over Desert Ridge, and last week they beat Central. But the win that really caught my attention was a 49-14 win over McClintock. So they come into this game 3-0. They've only allowed 34 points all season. They've scored 35 or more every game. And then Notre Dame Prep, obviously, they just played Desert Edge. That was a game it was 0-0 for most of the first half. Desert Edge scored about 10 seconds to go in the half, and Notre Dame pulled to within 6 points midway through the fourth quarter of that game. But then Desert Edge ended up winning that game 27-14.
You know what? Our season projections is going to look absolutely crazy, and it's partly because we've lost some quarterbacks along the way. McClintock's quarterback went down. Tempe's quarterback went down. We'll see how this possibly works. Yeah. So we'll see how this. Maryvale's quarterback went down. Maryvale's quarterback went down. Like, what's the deal? We've been a curse to some of these quarterbacks. It's been super disappointing. But look, our standings, our standing projections, we're gonna eventually be okay at some point, I hope.
Yep.
Gridiron. I think I have no idea which game I'm going to go to, but I will tell you Adam Beadle will be at Pinnacle Higley. At least that's the rumor that
Adam
I've
will
heard.
be at the Pinnacle Higley game. Good.
Yeah. So he might have Twitter in or X in a stranglehold this week.
It might come down to the very end there. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll all be staying tuned to
tune on the radio to catch the end of that one.
Yeah, shoot, that'll be a good time, man. Don't hold back. All right, Gridiron. I always appreciate you, Men Lie, Women Lie. Numbers don't. You've always held down the community. Manual scoreboard back in full effect. Although I have noticed, I feel like you're releasing it a little bit later.
No, this last week was good because last week my game ended at 9:15. So I think my goal is to have it out before 11:30 every week.
Okay.
Get it out before the Fever. Now the week before that did not work out because my game went after 10 when I was out at the Tukey Bowl. And so by the time I drove home, I did the interviews after the game and then drove home. Then I had to pull the scores. That was closer to midnight when that one got posted. But usually I try to get it up before 11:30.
Oh, okay. Well, what happens here?
I got a shorter trip home this week going to NDP. So
what happens is I usually check for it, and then I do my own drive home, and I jump on Spaces for like a half hour or whatever on my way home. And
because I gotta do post game interviews. Then drive home from the game and then go look up all the scores. And I usually try to use Twitter as the primary source because I want someone who was at the game. So I usually look them up and find them on there. And then I got a couple other sources I can go to if I don't find anything on there.
All right. Hey, Gridiron, I appreciate you, man. Always hanging out and always, doing right and making sure that we're all in check with all the stuff that is going on. Hopefully our Inside the Numbers Spotlight team gets back on track this week. We'd like to get back on that in the win column.
Yeah. Big upset.
Sheesh. All right. Gridiron, I'm going to catch you.
2 teams head and shoulders above everybody else.
Oh, you know the deal. All right. Hey, Gridiron, I'm going to catch you next week for sure. But I'll be staying tuned to everything that you got going on Twitter because you usually put out some fast facts and things like that.
Yep.
And I'm always waiting on those. All right?
All right.
All right, my man. Take care.
Yeah. Gang.
All right, and just like I've been doing, the past few weeks, my donut dogs got to show some love to some of these teams that have been putting up these shutouts because I get hit up by coaches and parents and players that their teams put up these amazing donuts. The first one I'm going to talk about is a game that I was actually at. So let me go ahead and show some love over here to the local-ish team. I was actually able to like walk to the game. Pinnacle. They shut out the Corona del Sol Aztecs. Me and Gridiron talked about it a little bit. 35-0. Gave them the donut. Coach Robinson doing an amazing job over there. I am curious to see if Pinnacle can get another donut this week. I don't even know if that's possible based on opponent, but we will see, and situation, because there is an actual crazy situation surrounding the defensive play caller for Pinnacle in that game, because I don't think that he's going to be able to be on the sideline, and I think that that's a big thing. So next game that I want to show some love to, I don't know if I'm surprised by this or not, but shout out to my guy over there in the Queen Creek area, Benjamin Franklin. The Chargers, they run it up on Odyssey Institute 62-0. Coach Norris over there definitely doing his thing, making things cook on offense and on defense. I try to recognize him mostly for his offensive abilities as a coach, but he's really getting the job done defensively too. His DC over there really putting a number on teams, and that number would be 0. Up next, another donut dog that I got over here. No surprise, really, because this head coach is known for his defensive acumen, and I can't say that I'm too surprised at all. But Desert Mountain, they get a 42-0 win over Mountain View. Coach Hamilton is one of the best defensive minds in the game, was coaching over there at Chaparral and Mountain Point, and now at Desert Mountain as a head coach, and doing a great job over there. Shout out to my guy Ryan McDonough, defensive standout over there, playing some defensive back, and also flips around and plays some wide receiver. So just want to show him some love. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say he's like the Georgetown commit, and absolute steal, by the way. Want to show some love to this team because I feel like, I got to show some love to the small schools too. And because I'm not just a big school guy. I'm not just a big school guy that just shows love to big schools. So want to show some love to the Santa Cruz Valley Dust Devils, 62-0 over Tombstone. Santa Cruz doing their thing, fully doing their thing, making sure that everybody understands like who runs that thing over there. So shout out to them, and them getting the big dub, getting the big dub. So moving on after Santa Cruz Valley versus Tombstone. I don't know what's going on with one of these schools, but I want to show some love to these guys over here. Canyon del Oro, showing that they're not the ones to be played around with. 54-0 over South Mountain. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that Jaguars program. Once proud. The Carters had that thing fully. The Carter brothers, now at Maryville, fully had that thing going, and they've fallen. Is the only word that I can really use to describe that situation over there. Next, let's see. I gotta show some love. I gotta go up north. I gotta go all the way up north. Shout out to my guy up there, Coach Cook. From Coconino, the Coconino Panthers get this dub, 41-0 over the Washington Rams. Great job by Coach Cook. He also known for his offensive acumen, but I know his defense definitely getting things going the right way and making things cook over there, literally making things cook. So I want to show him some love for the job that his guys did on defense, and I guess on offense, right? Because they did put up 41 of them things. So moving on. This is a team that Gridiron just talked about, and I believe he's going out to watch this team play, watch this team work. So, I'm curious to see how this thing pans out. The Gilbert Tigers are going to be going to this Notre Dame prep game hot. 48-0 over the Central Bobcats. The Bobcats are going to try to figure things out, and Gilbert, they're going to try to see if they can replicate this feat next week versus Notre Dame. Tough task. Look, just getting the dub will be a good thing, but if they replicate that feat, I will be highly impressed. Let's see what's up next. Oh, here we go. Look, they lost their head coach. Wondering how things are going to go. Things are obviously like going okay because the Vista Grande, I think Vista Grande. I'm not sure how do you pronounce that last name, but what I do know is they got this 36-0 victory over Desert Sunrise. These donut dogs handed Desert Sunrise the donut, and they're going to be moving on, and definitely going to be looking forward to more donuts from Vista Grande. I think that team is super disciplined and will be able to make things cook. I think that Coach Roberts left a lot in the cupboard over there for them to work with, and should be a lot of fun the rest of the way. We'll see how that thing goes for them. Moving on, I think we got like 2 more. I think we got like 3 more. This is a big game, and me and Gridiron talked about this. These guys definitely have things going the right way and know what donuts are about. The Combs Coyotes, 50-0 over Choya. Combs really looking like they're going to be one of those playoff teams that is going to be something to watch. I can't wait to see how this season unfolds for them as we move further into the weeks. But 50-0, they had all they've been doing is handing out donuts this year. So shout out to Combs, Coach Hoagland's squad over there, and the job that they're doing, absolutely amazing. 2 more games that I want to recognize some of these coaches. Let's see here. We're gonna go down south. We're gonna go down south for this one. Team that's usually pretty good and a lot of fun to watch. No, it is not that one. We're gonna talk about Push Ridge Christian Academy over there. The Lions, 35-0 over Catalina Foothills. A little surprised that Push Ridge, man. I remember when Push Ridge was like I want to say like a 3A school, and Catalina Foothills was like a 5A school. So like I'm just surprised that this went down like that. But things are what they are in Southern Arizona. Push Ridge wants to make sure that everybody knows who they are exactly. Last game that I'm going to talk about, my Donut Dogs. This one right here. I thought that my guy Zach Smith made it rain. He did not. He actually did not. He went in there for about a quarter. Threw some passes, got some completions, and then let somebody else take over. 49-0 over Brad. I better not put his name out there. Over the Moon Valley Rockets. I believe that's Brad Davis' squad. But anyways, Arcadia handling that business, 49-0, and they've been on a roll. Shout out to the guys over there doing their thing. They got some special players over there that I got to get a look at some point, maybe this week. You never know. But Arcadia showing that they are the Titans. At least they did last Friday. So shout out to them and all that they are doing. Again, look, I know that we got a unique situation with all these transfers coming in from other places out of state. I know that we got a transfer situation within the state that everybody hates. I've talked to Dr. Dean numerous times. That's Jim Dean. That's the executive director of the AIA about these situations. And, the AIA is going to handle things the best way that they can. It is not their job to take opportunities away from kids. And I know everybody's going to say like, oh, Chili, but making our kids sit 5 games for transferring, that is taking opportunities away. No, listen, you could play those 5 games if you stay at your school. But then you're going to be like, oh, no, we can't stay at our school because it doesn't give us the opportunities. So, like, all I hear is, like, a lot of complaining. And you know what? Like, all these kids that are coming in from other places, and, I would hate to see, like, kids losing playing time and things like that. But competition, I really believe this. I said this on Twitter. Competition breeds excellence. That is what I believe. It's healthy for you. It is healthy for the kids to compete with somebody else that might be better than them. It's a good thing. And when these kids get to college, of which most of you want your kids to do, you want them to go to college, they're going to have to compete again. They're going to have to compete for opportunity. They're going to have to compete for the opportunity to play. So there's that. And your boy Chili, I'm going to make my way out of here at Just Chili, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Just Chili TV on TikTok and YouTube. Make sure that you catch the Dropping Dimes segment on the 12 Plus app. Your boy Chili is rocking with Cam Cox for a half hour on Mondays on the app. Make sure you check it out. Justice Brathwaite, Will Menzel. Those were our guys. Oh, by the way, Will Menzel went absolutely bananas last week. I got to see that Chandler team. Jai Jones, an absolute problem. The best football playing athlete in the state. And I saw it live. He did his thing. Shout out to him. And shout out to Will Menzel, Will Menzel turned in one of the top 2 or 3 performances, 2, maybe 3 performances that I have ever seen live in Arizona high school football history. So I just want to put that out there. Shout out to everybody that always shows me so much support. When you're on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and like, and let's start some dialogue or whatever. Try to leave the hate at home or whatever. But if you can't resist and you need a hug, holler at your boy. Other than that, forks up forever. Y'all know the deal.